Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to begin our social studies class with Histories chapter 5, the Mughal Empire. In last class, dear students, we already discussed about the Mughal Empire, and this chapter is started with page number 32. We already discussed about Babur, important battles of Babur, achievements of Babur. After that, Humayun, important challenges, important battles, the Sur Empire, Said Shah Suri, and achievements of Said Shah Suri, successor of Said Shah Suri, Akbar, and expansion of the empire by Akbar and Akbar's policy. All that thing we already discussed in our last class. Now, dear students, we are going to begin our chapter with ruler Jahangir, who start to rule from 1605 to 1627, and that is on page number 35 only. You have to open page number 35. Akbar was succeeded by his son Prince Salim. He took the title of Jahangir. Means Jahangir's man name was Salim, and conqueror of the world. He continued Akbar's liberal and secular policies. Means he follows Akbar's policy from starting only military campaigns. The first and the most important challenge before Jahangir was to consolidate the vast empire he has got from his father. Means Akbar expanded his empire in whole over the India, so it is the main responsibility of the Jahangir to recapture at that type of places whichever won by another rulers or something like that. He first crushed the rebellion of his son Prince Khusro. Next, he strengthened Mughal control over Awadh and Bengal. In 1613, he defeated Rana Amar Singh of Mewar. When in 1613 he defeated Rana Amar Singh of Mewar, Jahangir allowed him to rule over his territories on the condition that he would remain loyal to the Mughals. In 1620, Jahangir conquered Kangra. In 1620, Jahangir conquered Kangra also. Because of that, so that type of place is not ruled by him. So he want to rule on whole over the India like his father. So he start to capture remaining places of India also wherever his rules was not there. Jahangir also tried to expand the Mughal influence in the Deccan. He captured the Ahmednagar fort. However, Malik Ambar, the military commander of Ahmednagar, did not allow the Mughals to conquer territories in the Deccan. In the northwest, Jahangir lost Kandahar to the Persian. This was a huge loss as the major trade routes between India and West Asia passed through Kandahar. Means that type of huge loss we can watch that in the military campaigns by Jahangir. Beginning of trade with England. During Jahangir's reign, many traders from England came to India to obtain trade concession because Jahangir invited them for trading in India. In 1612, the English set up a trading post at Surat. Sir Thomas Roy, the ambassador of the King of England, visited the Mughal court in 1615. Jahangir granted him many trading rights and concessions because Jahangir want to make them rule or make them trade here in India. Because of that, Sir Thomas Roy start to establish their companies in Surat. Noor Jahan. Jahangir owed much of his success to his wife Noor Jahan. He took her advice on important issues. Whenever he got any type of issue, then he had to take advice by her wife, his wife only. Once when he fell ill, Noor Jahan managed the affairs of the empire. Gradually she became so powerful that coins began to be issued in the name of both. Historians believe that she was the real power during the later half of the Jahangir's reign. Means we can say that he is the half ruler on that time. Noor Jahan's growing power and influence at the court alarmed Prince Khurram, later Shah Jahan. The struggle for power between them intensified after 1625. After Jahangir's death, Noor Jahan retired from public life. Means whenever Jahangir got died, after that Noor Jahan retired from public life. Achievements of Jahangir. Which type of achievements got by Jahangir? Then we can say that Jahangir's first important achievement was that he maintained stability in the empire. He continued the policy of secularism. He maintained friendly relations with the Rajputs, married into Rajput families, and awarded high posts to deserving Rajputships like his father only. Like Akbar also do same like that. Like Akbar, Jahangir was a people's ruler. He cared for his subjects and looked after their well-being. Sources tells us that he installed a chain of justice outside his palace. Whoever had a complaint against any public official could ring the bell and speak directly to the emperor. Means if you have any type of problem, then you can talk to directly king. You don't have to want to talk with soldiers or any type of minister or something like that. You directly go to their home, and after that ring the bell, then directly emperor came to talk to you, and after that you can say your problem. That type of system is there on that time. Jahangir was a well-read man. He was very fond of literature and painting. Mughal painting attained perfection during his reign. We can say that painting and drawing is flourished on that time. After that, Shahjahan 1625 to 1628 to 1657. After Jahangir's death, there was a war of succession amongst his sons. Prince Khurram defeated his brothers and became king. He came to be known as Shahjahan, meaning ruler of the world. His title is as Shahjahan, means ruler of the world. After that, military campaigns. Many revolts occurred during the reign of Shahjahan. One of the important revolts was formed the Bundela Rajputs of Bundelkhand, which Shahjahan crushed successfully. Next, there was a revolt in the Deccan. Shahjahan invaded the Deccan and annexed Ahmednagar in 1633. Means whoever came to fight with him, he finally defeated him. And Deccan and Ahmednagar in 1633, Bijapur and Golconda signed a peace treaty with Shahjahan and agreed to pay an annual tribute. After consolidating his position in the Deccan, Shahjahan sent an army to Balkh and Badkhassan in Central Asia in order to add Timur's capital of Samarkand to his empire. Means he want to add Samarkand's empire or Timur's capital Samarkand into his empire, so he had to send his army on that place. This campaign, however, failed. He also failed to recover Kandahar from the ruler of Persia. After that, trade relations with Europe. How was the trade relation with Europe with him? Europeans continued trade from India and established a trading outpost in different parts of the empire. Means on that time also Europeans make trade with Indians. Architectural development. Under Shahjahan, architecture witnessed tremendous growth. He built the Taj Mahal at Agra and the Red Fort and the Jama Masjid at Delhi. If anyone asks you who made Taj Mahal at Agra and the Red Fort and Jama Masjid, then you can say that that's made by Shahjahan only. He also built a new city called Shahjahabad, the seventh city of Delhi. That is known as Shahjahabad, and made it its capital. He made it Shahjahabad as its capital. In 1657, Shahjahan fell ill. A war of succession broke out among his four sons, Dara Shikoh, Shah Shuja, Aurangzeb and Murad Bakhsh. Aurangzeb defeated and killed his main rival Dara and imprisoned Shahjahan at the Agra fort. Thereafter, he crowned himself emperor. After that, now Aurangzeb, the last of the great Mughals. Aurangzeb, Alamgir meaning conqueror of the world, means ruler of the world, ruled for 49 years. Aurangzeb ruled for 49 years, the same as Akbar. His empire covered nearly the whole of the India. Aurangzeb's reign can be divided into two phases. First one is from 1658 to 1680 when he was in North India, and second one is from 1681 to 1707 when he was in Deccan only. So, suppression of revolts. There were many revolts during the reign of the Aurangzeb in northern India. Aurangzeb had increased the land tax from 1/3 to 1/2 to the produce. The Jats of the Agra Mathura region, the Satnamis and the Bundelas revolted against it. The most powerful revolts were that of the Rajput, the Sikhs and the Marathas. Most of the Aurangzeb's time, energy and resources were spent on crushing these revolts. Means on that time he spent his most of the money on crushing that type of revolts only. After that, policies of Aurangzeb, which type of policies started by Aurangzeb? We can say that first one is Deccan policy. Aurangzeb spent the last 26 years of his reign in the Deccan. How many years? 26 years of his last life in the Deccan place. He wanted to crush the power of the Marathas and strengthen his position in the Deccan. Means he wanted to capture the Deccan also. Aurangzeb annexed Bijapur in 1686 and Golconda in 1687. When Bijapur was annexed by Aurangzeb in 1686 and Golconda in 1687. However, these conquests did not benefit the empire. It was difficult to administer these lands as they were too far from the capital. Also, the Mughals came face to face with the Marathas. Aurangzeb tried to crush them but failed. Even after realizing that the Marathas were a powerful enemy, on that time Aurangzeb felt that Marathas was a powerful enemy. He did not try to make peace with them. This weakened the empire. The Deccan policy of Aurangzeb was a failure. He failed to subdue
The Marathas' continuous wars emptied the treasury and led to a loss of a large number of soldiers due to Aurangzeb's long absence from the north. Administration suffered revolts challenging the Mughal authority also broke out, and finally Aurangzeb's rules came to be end. Religious policy. Aurangzeb was an orthodox, God-fearing Muslim. Unlike the earlier Mughal emperors, he had a very simple lifestyle. He never wore costly robes or used gold and silver vessels. He even sewed caps and copied the Quran to sell so that he could earn money for his use rather than taking it from the treasury. Due to his simplicity, he was popularly called Jinda Peer or living saint because he didn't use any type of physical thing like that. We can say that any type of gold or silver vessel or crown and that type of thing did not used by him. As a ruler, Aurangzeb was short-sighted. He gave up Akbar's policy to tolerance. He became very unpopular when he reintroduced the jizya. The policies of Aurangzeb pushed the empire towards decline. After that, the Mughal administration. Dear students, now already we discussed about the ruler like Jahangir and Jahangir's military campaigns, beginning of the trade with England, Nur Jahan, achievements of Jahangir, Shahjahan's trade with Europe, architectural development during the Shahjahan's reign, Aurangzeb and suppression of revolts, Aurangzeb's policies, all that thing we discussed. Now we will discuss about the Mughal administration. What was the administration in Mughal time or something like that. The emperor was the head of the administration. The Mughal court was very ceremonial. The emperor sat on a throne. Others were assigned places to sit or stand. On that time only emperor had to sit. Other all are standing or sitting downside only. Others were assigned, and during the reign of Akbar, along with Sizda and Pebos, Kunnis and Taslim were also performed. On that time, Sizda, Pebos and Taslim is also can to be done. Every day, reports from nobles and department heads were read out to the rulers a particular assigned time. This meeting was held in the Diwan-e-Khas. Diwan-e-Khas means hall of private audience. On that place, private audience also sat. The emperors held their court for the general public in the Diwan-e-Am, hall of public audience. In a hall of private audience means that type of emperors only sat and the normal private people only sat, and in Diwan-e-Am general people also can be sat. When the emperor was away from his capital, his court moved with him. During these times, the court was held under huge tents. In the 17th century, the court was divided into two groups, the liberals and the orthodox. Since Jahangir and Shahjahan were tolerant rulers, the liberal group was dominant in religious matters. Under Aurangzeb, the orthodox group had the upper hand. On that time, we can say that meeting was held in Diwan-e-Khas and Diwan-e-Am only. And Diwan-e-Khas is, we can say that for private people only. Whatever private audiences we can sit here like ministers and emperor, only that type of person can sit. In Diwan-e-Am, general public or general people also can sit on that time whenever he is ruling or he is taking any type of decision or something like that. And we know that Aurangzeb, the orthodox group, had the upper hand. After that, structural administration. It was a centralized monarchy and the ruler enjoyed absolute power. Apart from central administration, there were provincial administration, revenue administration and army administration. Many type of administration on that time set up like central administration, provincial administration, revenue administration and army administration. After that, now we will talk about central administration. In this one, we can talk about the Wazir was the prime minister. We can say that on that time, Wazir was known as the prime minister. Diwan was the head of the revenue department. Mir Bakshi looked after the military. Khane-Saman attended to needs to royal household. Sadar-e-Sadur is record grants and donation made by the king. Qazi was the chief judge. All that about the central administration. Now we will talk about provincial administration. The empire was divided into provinces called subas. Each suba was headed by a governor called subedar, means head of the subas, head of the provinces. He served as a link between his provinces and the ruler. Each suba was divided into sarkars or districts. Each sarkar is divided into paragnas. A paragna consisted to be many villages like that. The Kotwal looked after town administration. He performed both police and civil duties. He caught criminals and maintained law and order. That type of work is done in provincial administration. After that, revenue administration. Dear students, in that administration, we can say that that's about the land or something like that, for agriculture, farmland or normal household. The main sources of revenue were land and trade. You have already studied that Akbar had made money reforms in the land revenue system. Raja Todarmal, his revenue minister, introduced the land revenue system, which came to be known as Todarmal's bandobast. Under the new system, land was properly measured. In the past, it is used to measure with the rope. However, the rope shrunk when it was dry and stretched when it was wet. When the measurement used to change, Todarmal introduced a new measuring device. It was a rod made of the bamboo needs to join together by iron rings. Means after that, iron rings is used for measuring the place. Now land could be measured very accurately. Land was divided into three categories, namely good, average and bad. The revenue was fixed according to the fertility of land. Revenues taking according to fertility of the land. In 1580, system called the Dahsala was introduced. Under this, the average produce of the average price over the last 10 years were calculated. The tax to be paid for the year was fixed on the basis of the average. Generally, one third of this figure was the share to the ruler. Means whatever you earn, one third you have to share with ruler only. The emperors encouraged both internal and overseas trade. India exported textile, spices, indigo, and saltpeter to China, Central Asia, and Europe. After that, army administration. The Mughals introduced the Mansabdari system. The term Mansab means rank or position. The Mansabdar was the person who held a particular rank. His rank determined his salary and his military responsibility. According to the rank of the army officer, they have to be paid. The Mansabdar's rank was divided into two, Jat and Savar. The former determined the number of soldiers under him, and the latter the number of horses he was expected to maintain. The Jat ranks range from 10 to 10,000. They have 10 to 10,000. Jats generally, those above 5,000 were given to only to the princes. Means 5,000 live nearby the princes only. The salary of the Mansabdar was fixed in cash. However, it was paid by assigning him a Jahangir, the taxes from which would be equal to his salary. He was expected to collect the revenue from his Jagirs, and with the money collected, maintain his household and pay his troops. Means if he want to take in salary in cash, then he can take in salary in cash. After that, if he want to take land or something like that, same value of the land, then he can take that type of thing also. Mansabdars were promoted, demoted or transferred according to the wishes of the emperors. His rank was also not hereditary. When Mansabdar died, his Jagir was taken away and given to someone else. Means whenever it's not a hereditary system, means it's not sure that after the death of the Subedars any another Mansabdar or Subedar came to be rule or something like that. After that, agrarian policy. The Mughals needed a huge amount of money to meet the expenses of salary. Most part of the money came from revenue from agriculture. All rulers tried to increase the productivity of the land. Loans were given to peasants to buy agriculture tools, better seeds. Means on that time loans is also provided to agriculture peasant or something like that for agriculture cultivating. And the rulers also encouraged the peasants to bring more land under cultivation by exempting them from paying taxes on such lands for a few years. Most peasants lived by subsistence level. They paid one third of the total produce to revenue or to the emperor. This gradually increased the one of the half, and in times of the natural calamities, however, the revenue was either reduced or sometimes totally written off. Means on that time, if a ruler think like that, he didn't have to collect any type of taxes, then he can reuse that type of system. He don't have to collect that type of taxes or jizya. The peasants had a hereditary right to cultivate their land. They could not be evicted as long as they paid the revenue. However, increasing demand for the revenue gradually resulted in many peasants becoming landless. They began to work on the land of the Jamidar for wages. This producing alarm consequences in later years. Dear students, it's about the agrarian policy of the Mughals. Dear students, in this chapter we already discussed about many things about the Mughal rulers policies, Mughal rulers life history, and many type of things like military campaigns, and that type of history also we read. And at last we already talk about the agrarian policy, which type of agrarian policy they start to take. In the last, we can say that Mughals rulers are in favor of the people, because of that on that time they start to use the jizya policy, or jizya tax also exempted by them. When they start to feel like that peasants didn't have any type of agricultural land and they didn't cultivate, so on that time they look after him and they helped him. Dear students, I hope you understand this chapter. Once again, I am going to revise. Jahangir's reign is from 1605 to 1627. Shahjahan's reign is from 1628 to 1657. Aurangzeb's reign is from 1658 to 1707. Dear students, is about the Mughal Empire. Means it is the great Indian history is the part also. Thank you.